I like it when it's about talking, right, back and forth, and I know that you don't always feel comfortable going up to these folks, but these are pretty important topics. Now, thanks a lot, Andrea, for presenting on that. Please talk to Andrea. She's the director. Of that organization. If you need to know more about it. Coming up next is Alice Billings. Her presentation probably very similar to affordable housing, right? Called The Gentle Mustang. It's titled The Gentle Mustang, so I assume it's also on affordable housing. Kidding. Alice Billings is the daughter of a bohemian artist who lived in Paris in the late 1920s. She is still a hippie who lived in New York City in the 1960s. As a child, she fell in love with horses, never knowing at that time how that love would blossom into the passion that it is today. Art and horses is what she is about. Teaching art in Ridgway schools and teaching horsemanship on her ranch. Thunderheart Haven is how she spends her days. The horses she works with today are mostly former wild Mustangs, born in the range and rounded up. But that's a topic for another time. In addition to the Mustangs at the ranch, Liberty, Bloomer, McLeod, Rohirrim? Rohirrim. Oh, like okay, there we go.
Rohirrim is Aragon's horse.
That's right. In Lord of the Rings. Is it his actual horse? Okay, I'm assuming. Vision. She has Gus, an Appaloosa, and Penny, a Welsh pony. Today's story is about the Gentling. Is that right? Gentling?
Gentling.
Okay, the Gentling McLeod. Ladies and gentlemen, Alice Billings and a Gentle Mustang.
You can see me and you can hear me, okay? All right, so before the slide starts, wild horses are in the 10 western states and on our public lands. And it's managed by the BLM, the Bureau of Land Management. Right now, there are approximately 60,000, sorry, okay, thank you, okay. Right now, there are approximately 60,000 Mustangs who have been rounded up by the BLM in Holden. They have not been adopted, and they round them up for various reasons, which is a topic for another day. So I'm part of a group called Wild to Mild that brings in Mustangs. It's a partnership between BLM, the Mustang Heritage Foundation, let's see, what else? Mustang Heritage Foundation, 4-H and Wild to Mild group. And every year we bring in probably 40 to 50 Mustangs where young people and adults now can sign up to gentle a horse, a wild Mustang. So it's a way of getting Mustangs out of holding into homes and to teach young people and adults about horsemanship. And many of the people involved in the program actually do keep their Mustang, and the others are rehomed. They do not go back into holding. So just something that your Mustang is not a breed. It's not an Appaloosa quarter horse thoroughbred. It's sort of like a dog who's a mutt. It's a combination. And in Spanish, it's sort of Mustango, and meaning kind of a horse with no name, a horse with no home. And so that's what a Mustang is. I think, okay, you'll have time for questions later. Okay, we are ready. So gentling a Mustang, the old terms were breaking a horse, and that's exactly what they did. They broke their spirit. And we never want to do that to any horse, let alone a Mustang. Okay, so the picture on your left is when I was 3 or 4 years old in the 50s, and this is today with McLeod. And for those of you who know me, that name doesn't elude you. Thunder was my first Mustang, and he taught me an awful lot, and it was from him that I really learned that you never want to break their spirit. So when part of this program, I went to choose a horse. the Wild to Mild program, and this was choosing McLeod, but I never really think that that you choose a horse. The horse chooses you. And I'm going to take this off so I can see. So one of the things that you have to know about wild horses is they're rounded up, they're taken from their families, they're separated, and they're wild. And they don't trust a human. Who would trust them when, they're separated from the family? So then you have to load them into a trailer. Well, how do you do that? Not easily. And so McLeod got loaded into the trailer, and here he is at home. And you can see he's kind of on alert. Now what he's wearing around his neck is this necklace with his individual number, 6489. Every horse who's rounded up has a necklace. I'll get back to that one a little bit. So here's my herd greeting McLeod, and he will not be out in the pasture with the others until I'm able to catch him and put a halter on him. So that takes time. You can see that he is really on alert. And here's the tag. And part of this is to be able to take the tag off. But in order to do that, you have to be standing next to them very calmly. This is the brand. So BLM brands the horses. It's like a Morse code, and it's an identification. And actually what that says is US 17, the year he was born, 89 for the state of Nevada, and his individual number 6489. So on the range, they don't have objects like jackets and things like this. You have to get them used to that. Now remember, I can't touch him. He is a wild horse, a wild animal. So I start with a long stick and a line, rubbing his shoulder and gentling him. That's what we want to build up, the trust and the partnership. This was the first time I ever actually touched him on his shoulder. Woo-hoo! The first touch. And it takes a while. It takes a while. This was probably almost a month and a half in. But that doesn't mean I can touch him all over. So it's a matter of patience, a lot of patience, building up that trust, building up the relationship. That's what it's all about, because remember, they have no reason to trust humans. Humans have been bad to them. Then we have to teach them to load in a trailer. Horses by nature are claustrophobic. You are asking a flight animal, a prey animal, to go into a box where they have no means of escape, no visible means. So that takes time. And then once I got the halter on him, 2.5 months into, 2.5 months, it's a matter of pressure and release. And yahoo, at the fairgrounds here, I was able to get the tag off. 2.5 months. Now, I could have forced him. I could have done it with force, but I wanted it to be his choice. It's about giving them a voice and a choice. And we exposed them to kind of fun things in the river, right here in the Uncompahgre, in the river. And I didn't put the slide up, but he almost pulled me into the water on this one. And there he is, wet but not so wild. And it takes time. Again, it's about trust and the relationship that you develop with the horse. And he's a cutie. And so, we love each other. What can I say? We love each other. And this year, we're going to start saddle training this summer. He's going to be but he has worn a saddle. This group, we have a Mustang show, and you can see he has a little saddle, like they use it, like Dennis used in McLeod, riding down the streets of New York City. So he's had a saddle on him, but nobody's been in the saddle. And there he is with me. And then, while I'm going to be saddle training him, the process starts again with bringing in others. 4 mares from the San Wash Basin herd management area. They just came in on May 12th.
Wow.
the gray one, Flo, is the one that I'm starting to gentle. So we have Horse and Human Rescue is a nonprofit right here. We rescue horses. We rescue people. You know, the horse rescues the person rescues the horse. In addition, we have children to the ranch. We have a school program going, and we bring the middle school and high school to the ranch. This past year, we actually brought the 5th grade to the ranch. And it's not about necessarily everybody riding a horse. It's about teaching them about the environment, about the majesty of the equine, and to feel comfortable standing next to a 1,000-pound animal who, if they wanted, could hurt you, but they don't. You know, it's always, whatever we do is usually human error and not horse era, equine era. So the more we can teach children that horses are fabulous and a part of the larger environment. Thank you. Any questions? I have a lot to say. Okay. Yes, madame.
I saw that you have like riding lessons up there. How do you sign up for that?
Just talk to me. Just talk to me. It's easy. You know, we have a few horses that are really kid-friendly. I'm hoping to bring in another little horse that's kid-friendly. And it's all about, you've been to the ranch, you know what we teach. And they groom the horses and they establish a relationship. Again, it's about trust and a relationship. Without the trust, you have nothing. You've got to build that trust. Yes, Dory.
I have a question. Yeah. Sorry. Never mind. I think never mind.
You can ask me later. Robert.
Share with about painting the horses.
Robert's been to the ranch. We literally not only paint the horses, you know, I have kids come out to the pasture and draw and paint the horses come around, but also sometimes we paint on the horses. I have special paint that's non-toxic and kids just doing it. Now, not all horses are gonna tolerate it. You have to, you know, it's about knowing your horse. It's like knowing your kids and what they're good at. And again, it goes back to trust and the relationship. Yes?
So you said that they have rounded up 60,000 horses. Is that every year or just that's?
No, that's the number of horses that to date are in government holding facilities. But the BLM has plans to round up probably 10 or 20,000 over the next few years. And if you want to talk to me privately about why we round up horses, you know, that's a subject, you know, and it's sad for me. Yeah. These horses should be left on the range. The one reason, first of all, you have mares and stallions, so if you have 100 horses in 4 years, that's going to be 200 horses. So you have to balance the relationship to the resources, because the horses on the range, we don't go out and feed them. They have to exist and they have to share with the other animals on public lands. But, you know, I don't disagree with culling the herds, but I do disagree with the manner in which many times it's done. And also an important factor too is you want to keep the herds viable. So you have to leave the genetics out there. And if you pull off genetics, then you end up with inbreeding. On one level, it's very simple, and the other level, it's very complicated. And so people like me, who are wild horse advocates, we do what we can do. And we try to educate people. I'm obviously an educator. We try to just educate people to what is going on, and particularly being in the schools, I really want to try to affect the younger people to have a different point of view of living with on this earth and sharing the earth with the animals, people and animals. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alice Jones.
Thank you.